Hello, everybody. I know it's been a while, but I've had a few physical things to deal with, and that's the reason. I had fallen off a ladder, received a concussion, and cracked one of my ribs. And once I recovered from that, then my appendix went, so I had to go have it removed. So, anyway, we're back again. Hoping you guys are having a great holiday season. And there is a reason for the season. I think you all know what it is. And anyway, it's the reason I celebrate Christmas the way I do. So I'm going to quote you something I wrote about my dad, and this is one of the very first poems I ever wrote. And he had basically a second grade education because his dad, and this is long ago, if he were alive today, he would be 107 years old. And he had me when he was 43 years old. So that tells you a little bit right there. But his dad had pulled him out of school to help him walk behind the plow and to help him bootleg whiskey. So, and he was basically illiterate, which I didn't find out until I was almost an adult. And there were telltale signs there, but I just never even thought about it really because he was my dad. So, anyway, he ended up becoming a millwright. He was a very hard worker, gave us a great work ethic. And then teaching himself how to weld, he started his own welding business. And he was successful at it. He was able to raise 12 kids out of the 14 that he had. And anyway, he was a good provider, took care of us. And we had our run ins growing up, being, as I was a chip off the block, and I was a little bullheaded. So, uh, but as I grew up, I began to understand a few things. And this poem I'm going to quote you about him will kind of explain things to you. It goes this way. It says, I tell you a story I hope sure sticks. About a big man stood 5'6". When the pot would boil, he'd secure the lid, which was no small job, having 14 kids. In doing this, he would instill pride and taught them all what they had inside. From rags to riches, as the story goes, he came through poverty and its woes. With his faithful wife always at his side, he rode the waves, some low and some high. A welding torch soon became his tool, sheets of metal he began to rule. A tyrant, no, though it seemed it at times, and his kids sometimes accused him of crimes. But as they grew, they would understand all the good they received by his hand. And grow they did, and soon had kids, and their own boiling pot and their own lid. Seemed very sad when the little big man died, and wife and family grieved and cried. But what still remained was the pride in the will that he gave all his children for the climb up the hill. And though his body no longer remained, in their hearts he's still the same. For he reached the goals that he could see and left a very special legacy. They called him Shorty because of his size, but he was a giant in these eyes. Anyway, as most children do in their teenage years, we rebelled and we butted, or I rebelled and we butted heads a few times. And I began to realize things that my older siblings haven't told me because they wanted to protect me from it. And I was always very good in school and reading and stuff. And he always liked me to read to him. And I couldn't understand why until it they finally told me, that dawned on me, he could not read or write. And I knew him basically when he was in his 40s and 50s and early 60s. He passed away when I was 16. But he was able to camouflage that entire time, run a successful business, interact with all his customers and people who ran the mills and stuff around here, and did very well. But he was extremely handicapped as far as education went. And he used to like for me to read to him, and I didn't get it until they told me what was going on. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. And I have some other stuff ready to go because I had some downtime, like I said. So I've stored up a few to share with you and be coming in the next few days. Thank you.